Hello and welcome to another video. Today is Thursday, which means it's another day for a study session. And today I decided that I was going to draw hands. But not only was I going to draw hands, I was going to use my own hand as reference. Listen, I know it's kind of like a pain to have a YouTube video open and then also have a reference website open at the same time. What if you only have one device? You're gonna watch a YouTube video and then it's a little in the corner, and then you're gonna use references or whatever. And then I feel like when I put up references for you guys, I always flash them pretty fast, and then you have to take a screenshot, and you have to look at the screenshot and then the video. And so I was like, well, if I use my own hand as reference, then the reference for you guys is in the same video as the one that I'm using, and it's in there the whole time because I have to look at it in real time as I'm drawing it, because I can't take a snapshot of my hand and then draw it. I need to look at it in real life. So I was like, look, we'll draw with my own hand as reference today. So that's what we're doing. So as I'm drawing my hand, you guys can just go ahead and draw my hand alongside with me, or you could draw your own hand. I just feel like drawing, everybody's drawing from life is better than drawing from reference, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like when I draw my own hand, the drawings that I do tend to be a little bit more detailed. I don't know if that makes them better. It makes them different though. And also, since it's not super timed, I did put a timer on just for 20 minutes, just so I was only studying for 20 minutes, but I wasn't timing how long it took me to draw each hand. And so since I wasn't timing it, I felt like I had a little bit more time to get the hand done in a way that I felt looked okay. Would I say that I like the way that these hands came out? I wouldn't say that they're bad. I would just say that they're studies. Okay, a study doesn't really have to be good or anything. It's just a study. We're just studying. If things are wrong, that's okay. We can fix it. If things look great, that's awesome. This really low pressure, really low, it's fine. Whatever happens, it's a study. It's fine, And so I think that they came out fine. And this is a real-time video. I could have sped it up, but I was like, it takes a while to draw things sometimes. And I really do like real-time videos, to post real-time videos, just so you guys can see how long the process takes. Because I feel like when it's just speed paints all the time, it kind of puts the idea into people's head that art doesn't take very long, but art is a very long process. Some people are really fast, and I admire that in them. I would also like to get a little bit faster, but sometimes we have to accept the reality that to make things that look nice, it's going to take a little bit of time, and so this is a real-time video. So when it comes to the poses that I decided to pick for my hand, I picked just random bullshit, honestly. Maybe these are poses that your hand would never do, right? But later on in the video, I do grab a prop, I guess. It's just my pen, what's it called? Oh my gosh, you know what, you guys, it's so weird. I should start writing scripts, because I feel like every time I'm thinking of something, I'm literally staring right at it, and I still cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. Anyway, it's the Ecoline brush pen. Damn it, Jesus Christ. I pick up the Ecoline brush pen and use it as a prop later on. But for these poses, I was just whatever, just do whatever. I mean, hands are always going to be in really weird poses, just because hands are weird. Just shape of them, the way that they fold, all of it is really strange, and super complicated, just because there are so many bones and stuff and muscles in there, small minute bones, small minute muscles, stuff like that, and so they're always gonna look strange. And so I was like, even if this feels like a pose that a hand would never do, there are some situations where you're doing whatever, and you're like, oh, my hand is just naturally doing that, and so I was like, whatever, pick whatever poses that you want. And I also tried not to copy poses that I've done with my hand before, just because I still have those old sketchbooks, so I can flip through and look at the old poses of hands that I've done. And so I was like, I don't want to do any of these again, because I've already done them. I could do them again later. I mean, it's not like I'm never going to draw those hand poses ever again. But, and it's, when it comes to using my own hand as reference, I generally don't really like to do that. I don't know why. I just feel like I have not that these are bad. I'm going to say things that I don't like in my own hands. Do not take this to mean that I think that these features are bad, okay? Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that they're bad. Okay, it's just that's my own internalized insecurity and stuff, and then society has like put ideas in my brain, right? And so I'm like, "Ugh, my fingers are so short and stubby and I don't really like it." And that's not a bad thing, right? It's okay if your hands are short and stubby, right? But it's also okay to feel insecure about some things, all right? And I'm working through that as a person, and you can work through that as a person too. So if I say something about myself that I don't like, don't mean that I don't like it in you, okay? Okay, just because I can't find beauty in myself doesn't mean I can't find beauty in others, all right? So that's all I have to say about that. And so I'm trying to get over that by using my own hand as reference, because you know what? Even though my hands are short and stubby, that doesn't mean they're not cute. Okay? They can still be cute. Also, if you guys see while you're drawing my hand as reference, I don't know if you guys actually do that, but if you do end up doing that and your hands look different than the ones that I drew, do not think that you did it wrong or that I did it wrong. It's that the vantage point that you're looking at it and the vantage point that I'm looking at it is different. So you guys are looking at it straight down, and I'm looking at my hand sort of kind of to the side, right? Because it's in front of me, but it's also to the side. So I can see more of like, I don't want it to say like the meat of my hand, but like the squishy part of my palm. I can see more of that than you guys can. So if you see me drawing like my palm, that's because I can see it. And so if in your drawing you're like, oh, I don't have the palm and hers has the palm, that's because you can't see it from the way that you're looking at it. And so that's okay, right? And so also, when you're drawing from reference and your drawing comes out different from somebody's, that's okay, you know, and that shouldn't be comparing ourselves with each other, okay? We're all doing our own thing, all right? If you're comparing yourself with other people, maybe try to take a break from doing that, okay? Because if you worry about someone else's journey, then you're going to get all, sad and fucked up in your own mind. And we're trying to focus on ourselves, you know? The one thing I really do like about drawing hands from reference in real life is that I can see sort of kind of, all the wrinkles and folds on the hand. And I feel like that gives me a much better way to draw guidelines than if I'm using a reference. Just because when I feel like you get like a reference from online, they're typically kind of small, and I guess you could zoom in and look at them a little bit more in detail. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit harder to see all those folds and wrinkles in your hands, in the reference. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at really poor references. But I feel like it's much easier in real life because it's right there, so close to my face, to see all the little wrinkles. And since your hand is full of wrinkles and stuff because it always bends all over the place and stuff. And so if something's bending and always changing shape, it's going to have wrinkles for all like the usual spots that it folds and stuff. And so I can use those as guidelines, and it makes drawing the hands a little bit easier. And I also feel like it makes the hands look a little bit more similar to what they actually look like, right? And so I don't know. I just feel like using like real life hands is a little bit easier than using hands from reference, in my own personal opinion. If you guys feel differently, go ahead and tell me. I love hearing different opinions, right? And new perspectives. Like I said in the last video, I do like to learn. So moving on to the references where I use the Ecoline brush pen as like a prop. I wouldn't say these are harder to do than regular hand poses. I feel like they are probably a little bit more practical to do because, I don't know, I feel like your hands are usually always touching something or holding something. And when you're doing like comics and stuff, I guess you draw hands at rest a lot, but I also feel like you're gonna draw them touching stuff, picking stuff up, flipping through a book and stuff like that. Maybe if I do this again, I'll clip a book and flip through it just so I can see what it looks like. Also, the only poor side about using your own hand as reference is depending on which hand you draw with, you can only ever draw that hand. Like I can't draw with my left hand personally, so all my references for hands is always going to be the left one. I guess I could take pictures of my hand and like flip them to see what it would look from the right side, but then it's not drawing from real life, it's drawing from reference, from like a photo. And so I don't know, I'm only ever going to be able to draw my left hand. I guess I could get someone like a buddy of mine just to come in and be like, hey, can you just sit there and make hand poses with your right hand? I don't really have friends, but if you guys have friends, that could be fun. If you have like other artist friends, you could just take turns drawing each other's hands from real life. That could be fun, like fun little art date type thing with your friends. I don't have friends, like I said, so I can't do that. But if you do have friends, you could do that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm glad that I was able to get back to doing some studying. I know I skipped study session last week just because I felt like I was a little bit burnt out, but I'm really glad I was able to come back and do a study session this week. It feels weird if I don't do a study, but also I feel like maybe my studies were getting a little bit too ambitious, right? It's okay to be ambitious, right? But I feel like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to up my studies week by week, right? And it's like, it's a study session, guy. It's super casual. Maybe I do need to study hands 3 weeks in a row. I'm not going to do that. I might rotate weeks. Then I don't have to study something 100% new every week. It's like, if it's studying, like, you sometimes have to study the same thing over and over again until you get it. And so I hopefully for you guys will be okay with me posting study sessions that are like, maybe I draw hands this week and then I go back to figure studies, and then after figure studies I do something new like old people, and then after that I can go back to something I'm a little bit more used to, just so I can get a little bit more extra practice in there. I hope that's not boring for you guys. But also I feel like, hey, if you're an artist and you need to study once a week, you probably also need to study hands a couple of times, every other week. No offense. Maybe you're like a hand god and you're beautiful at drawing hands. But, even if you're good at something doesn't mean you should stop practicing. You don't want to lose that skill. I've lost skills because I don't practice often enough. I'm like, oh, I know how to do this. I don't need to study. I don't need to practice. And then I stop being good at that sort of thing. Not that I stop being good, but I get worse. So I feel like sometimes if you don't practice something, you can get worse at it, which sucks. It would be so wonderful if every time that you did something and you felt like you mastered it, you could just retain that skill without ever having to do it again. And then like 5 years down the road, you could just pop it out and be like, look at me, I can still do it just as good as I could do it 5 years ago. That would be great. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I feel like it's something to do with like muscle memory. Like you build up muscle memory, but if you stop doing something, your muscle memory kind of dissolves, I guess, or fades, which sucks. It's like, why? I guess maybe it's like to make way for stuff that you are doing all the time. Like it builds that muscle memory instead. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. No, I'm not a scientist. I tried to think, am I a scientist? No, I'm like a social scientist technically. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know how the body works or muscle memory or stuff. I feel like that sort of thing is sort of kind of nebulous. Maybe scientists don't know too much about that either, but I don't know. I really don't know. So in the future, I'll probably intermix like real life hand drawings and, references for you guys. But I feel like I'm only probably going to do that with hands. I'm not going to like, just thinking about it, maybe like show you guys my feet and use that as reference. Like there's only so many poses you can do with feet and you can't do any of them at a desk. Okay, I draw at a desk for these videos. And also, ew, gross. Just disgusting. Okay, so let's not even think about that. Only hands for real life posing. Okay. Anything else? Maybe next week I'll try to draw objects. Like I might take like a picture of my room or just looking around my room and study the shape and stuff of my room, like my dresser and like all of the water bottles I have all around my room. Listen, I know water bottles are really bad for the environment. I recycle them though. I try to drink more water. Before I didn't drink very much water at all, and I still kind of don't. But then it was like, because I didn't know how you break it down. And it's like, you have to drink 8 cups of water a day. And I'm like, but you can't drink it all at once. And you can't drink it too close together or it doesn't count. And I'm like, well, then how much water am I supposed to drink during the day? I don't know. And then I broke it up. I broke it down in a way that I could understand where you have to drink. They were like, you should drink, right, a cup of water every 2 hours, basically, that you're awake. And I was like, okay, I drink a cup of water every 2 hours. And so that's what I've been doing. And so I'm like, hopefully I'm getting better hydrated. Guys, being hydrated is like really important. So if you haven't drank any water today, go drink some water. And if you have trouble bringing down how much water you need to drink during the day, just drink 1 cup of water every 2 hours and you'll have all the water you need for the day. And I'm like, I just had so much trouble just bringing it down. I don't know why. My brain just could not think of how much water that was. I think the problem is that I'm not a very like math brained person, which I know people who are good at math are like, listen, it's not that you're bad at math, it's that once upon a time someone told you that you're bad at math, and you told yourself that you were bad at math, and that's why you think you're bad at math. But honestly, I just feel like maybe I am just one of those people who's just really bad at math. I feel like even doing like simple division, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, and I have to look it up. And so the part of like breaking down things, into like division really fucks me up. I don't know why. And so dividing the number of like amount of water I need to drink was the hard part for me. And also I really hate going to the bathroom super often, and I feel like if you drink water at like not enough space in between, you always go to the bathroom like every 15 minutes or something. Anyway, that's enough about that. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys for spending this time with me. I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.